Yet again. I had to work over of mine is currently on vacation, so I'm working overtime to kind of pick up the slack for his absence. Um, no big deal. I'm only going to be potentially a little bit late just this week. Should be back to normal next week, I guess. I'm still going to be streaming around 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, no later than a half hour after that, maybe. So, but anyway, let's get into what we got going here. We got some news, of course. Got some news. Um, we got the officer that killed Dante Wright is already released from jail, naturally. So, former Brooklyn Center police officer Kim Potter has been charged with second degree murder, or excuse me, but not murder, which is what you or I would be charged with if we accidentally shot someone instead of tasing them. But former Brooklyn Center police officer Kim Potter has been charged with second degree manslaughter in the death of 20-year-old Dante Wright. Washington County Attorney Pete Orput announced the charges Wednesday, saying Potter, 48, was taken into custody by Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension agents and booked into Hennepin County Jail. She was released just a few hours later after posting bond, so she bailed herself out. Certain occupations carry an immense responsibility, and none more so than a sworn police officer, said Imran Ali, Washington County Assistant Criminal Division Chief and Director of the Major Crime Unit. With that responsibility comes a great deal of discretion and accountability. We will vigorously prosecute this case and intend to prove that Officer Potter abrogated her responsibility to protect the public when she used her firearm rather than her taser. Her action caused the unlawful killing of Mr. Wright, and she must be held accountable. Ali says he, along with Orpit, met with the family and expressed their deepest sympathies and assured them they would spare no resources in seeking justice for Mr. Wright. Second degree manslaughter is defined by Minnesota law as when someone acts with negligence, creating an unreasonable risk that causes death or great bodily harm. Rachel Moran, a law associate professor at the University of St. Thomas, explains it further. It really means more than an accident any average person would have, Moran said. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who is representing Wright's family, issued a statement following the decision to charge Potter. While we appreciate that the district attorney is pursuing justice for Dante, no conviction can give the Wright family their loved one back. This was no accident. This was an intentional, deliberate, and unlawful use of force, Crump said. Driving while black continues to result in a death sentence. A 26-year veteran of the force knows the difference between a taser and a firearm. Kim Potter executed Dante for what amounts to no more than a minor traffic infraction and a misdemeanor warrant. Dante's life, like George Floyd's life, like Eric Garner's, like Breonna Taylor's, like David Smith's, meant something. But Kim Potter saw him as expendable. It's past time for meaningful change in our country. We will keep fighting for justice for Dante, for his family, and for all marginalized people of color. And we will not stop until there is meaningful policing and justice reform, and until we reach our goal of true equality. Potter is the white former officer who shot and killed Wright, a black man, during a traffic stop Sunday. She's a 26-year veteran with the Brooklyn Center Police Department. Potter and the police chief, Tim Gannon, have since resigned from their positions. Police released body camera footage of the incident Monday. Gannon, who was still the police chief at the time, said he believes Potter meant to deploy her taser during the fatal incident. As I watched the video and listened to the officer's commands, it is my belief that the officer had the intention to deploy their taser but instead shot Mr. Wright with a single bullet, Gannon said. This appears to me from what I viewed and the officer's reaction and the stress immediately after that this was an accidental discharge that resulted in the tragic death of Mr. Wright. This charge brings up a lot of comparison to previous cases involving fatal police shootings in Minnesota. And with those comparisons, many community activists are saying Potter's charge is not enough. Jaylani Hussein, executive director of the Minnesota chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, compares it to the 2017 case involving ex-Minneapolis police officer Mohammed Noor and the shooting death of Justine Rushik Dimond. I hope I didn't butcher that name. This officer, who clearly pulled a gun and even a taser, killed this young man, Dante Wright. It's clearly murder, Hussein said. Noor was convicted of third-degree murder in addition to second-degree manslaughter. That's another distinction with Officer Noor, a black police officer accused of killing a white woman, and he's convicted, Moran said. But in 2017, ex-St. Anthony officer Geronimo Yanez was acquitted on a second-degree manslaughter charge for killing Philando Castile, also during a traffic stop. Minnesota has a history of acquitting police officers who have killed people of color. There's no denying that, and we need to talk about that, Hussein said. Charges could still be upgraded. I think a third-degree murder charge could be something that could be appropriate here and that many people would have expected, Moran said. Potter was charged in Hennepin County on Wednesday afternoon. According to the complaint, the incident began at 1:53 p.m. Sunday when Brooklyn Center police officer Anthony Lucky and his field training officer, Potter, pulled over a white Buick at 63rd Avenue North and Orchard Avenue North. Officer Lucky checked the identification of the driver, later publicly identified as Dante Wright, and determined that he had a warrant for a gross misdemeanor weapons charge. Lucky and Potter then asked Wright to get out of the vehicle and place his hands behind his back, which Wright did. Lucky then told Wright he was being arrested for the outstanding warrant. At that time, Lucky and Wright stood just outside the open driver's side door, and Potter was standing behind and to the right of Lucky. Wright then pulled away from the officers and got back into the driver's seat of the car, with Lucky continuing to maintain physical control of Wright. Potter then said she would taser Wright, the complaint said, and then pulled her Glock 9mm handgun with her right hand. While pointing it at Wright, she repeated that she would use the taser on Wright and then yelled, "Taser, taser, taser," before pulling the trigger of her handgun. One round entered the left side of Wright. Wright said, "You shot me," and the vehicle then sped away for a short distance before crashing into another vehicle and stopping, the complaint said. After she discharged her gun, Potter said, "Shit, I just shot him." Wright was pronounced dead at the scene. According to the timeline of events given in the complaint, 6 seconds passed between Potter saying she'd taser Wright to when she fired a single round from her handgun. A Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension investigator collected and reviewed Potter's duty belt and saw that her handgun is holstered on the right side of the belt and her taser is on the left side. The grips or handles of the taser and handgun face Potter's rear, and the taser is yellow with a black grip. The investigator noted that the taser is in a straight draw position, meaning she would have had to use her left hand to draw the taser out of the holster. The Hennepin County medical examiner has since determined Wright died of a gunshot wound and that his death was a homicide. Earl Gray, Potter's defense attorney, said he had no comment when reached by phone Wednesday. Gray also represented Yanez in his trial for the death of Castile, and he will represent ex-Minneapolis police officer Thomas Lane in his trial this summer for the death of George Floyd. If Potter is found guilty of the second-degree murder charge, she could face up to 10 years in prison. She is due to make her first court appearance at 1:30 p.m. on Thursday. So, there's that. Naturally, since, the police are accountable pretty much to no one, which should be as stated by one of the attorneys in this particular article, we would like to see a third-degree murder charge, but that's absolutely not going to happen. Number one, because they're not going to charge a police officer with that. Number two, even if they charge her with that, it's very unlikely that a police officer would be convicted with a crime like that. That's just kind of how it goes. So on that note, we got some police news on something that happened actually a little close to home for me. This was in my home state of Maryland, in Leonardtown. So this is involving a state trooper that murdered a 16-year-old boy over an airsoft gun. We're going to take a look at this video here. Get vaccinated. We talked about that last week. Okay, that was pointless. I thought they were going to talk about. Anyway, let me read this. Sorry. So, a 16-year-old with an airsoft. I really hope it. Okay. Sorry, a 16. What the? Get this. Okay, anyway. A 16-year-old with an airsoft gun and knife was killed in a trooper involved shooting Tuesday afternoon in Leonardtown, according to Maryland State Police. The suspect has been identified as Peyton Ham, 16, of Leonardtown. This is absolutely ridiculous. A guest at the bar today said her dad worked as a narcotics undercover detective for about 30 years working with cartels. He only pulled his gun twice. I mean, yeah, it's, when you got black and brown kids, their lives are expendable. You feel me? It's just sometimes you just get scared. And when you're stressed out, nobody understands how stressful a police officer's job is, right? That's why sometimes you just gotta, just murder a completely unarmed and non-violent person in cold blood. So, but anyway, to continue with this story, the suspect has been identified as Peyton Ham, 16, of Leonardtown. He was taken from the scene to MedStar St. Mary's Hospital, where he is pronounced dead. According to the preliminary investigation, Maryland State Police received 2 separate 911 calls around 1:30 p.m. at the Leonardtown barrack. The first call was from a male who gave a phone number instead of an address. They reported to the dispatcher that there was someone acting suspiciously who he believed had a gun. The dispatcher asked for his location, but the call was disconnected. 2 minutes later, a second 911 call was received from a male who gave a street address in the 23,000 block of Hollywood Road. The caller said someone was acting suspicious and he thought he had a gun. He hung up and did not give a name. The preliminary investigation indicates that within minutes, a uniformed Maryland state trooper arrived at the location and confronted Ham in the driveway. Police said Ham was armed with a gun and knife. A witness told investigators they saw the individual in the driveway and what the witness described as a shooting stance, pointing a gun at the trooper. The trooper fired at Ham, wounding him. A second witness told investigators that after the trooper fired the first time, they saw Ham pull out a knife and try to get up. The trooper ordered him to drop the knife before he fired again. Investigators later determined the gun to be an airsoft gun that was a close representation of an actual gun. The trooper reported the shooting and called for EMS. Aid was rendered to Ham by troopers and sheriff's deputies until EMS arrived. The trooper involved is a uniformed patrol trooper assigned to the Leonardtown barrack. He has been a Maryland state trooper for 2 years and 7 months. So, essentially, this kid had an airsoft gun. Snitch-ass neighbors called the cops on him, said that there was someone in the driveway with a gun. And this is only speculation on my part, because what I've seen from this boy, from Peyton Ham, this boy, he was your conservative, pro-police, Blue Lives Matter type, right? So why he would intentionally point a gun, real or airsoft, at a police officer is completely outside of the realm of my machinations, right? But what I'm assuming happened is this trooper got a call. There was someone in the driveway with a gun. He pulled the Tamir Rice, where he pulled up, just hopped out, and blammed on him. And if this kid had a knife, I don't know what I don't think he actually tried to, like, if you're shot and on the ground and ostensibly bleeding out, I feel like the last thing that you would do is try to fight the person that just shot you with a knife while they were still drawing down on you. I've seen a lot of people talk about how this kid was trying to commit suicide by cop, which is an absolutely insane, like, just the fact that that's even a concept that exists in America is pretty wild to me, right? But it stands to reason that if he was that desperate to commit suicide by cop, he would have just called the police himself. But that didn't happen. So anyway, it's striking to me that even when one of their own people, in terms of, and when I mean one of their own, I mean not specifically just white people, but white people in a specific class, right? Like people in the bourgeois, like the petty bourgeois, like the middle class, quote unquote, like upper middle class or whatever. That even when one of their kids gets killed by police, they will still find a way to simp for police power, right? Because it's fairly obvious. Like, you've been watching my stream and you've seen what I've done and what I've covered. Like, me and my kind, in terms of younger people, black people, people of color, um, we have been saying abolish the police. We were saying that all last summer. We've been saying that since then. There's still protests and things happening. There are protests happening right now in Minneapolis and Minnesota. There's protests that have happened in New York, so on and so forth. But the idea that police should at the very least be reformed, because reform is also bullshit. Reform is a half measure as well, right? But we can't even get people on board with that. They still just think that police are here to like protect people and keep the community safe when they just kill people. So anyway, there's that. We got a couple Matt Gaetz stories. Hang on, because I'm hitting a paywall here, so I'm gonna fix this before I get into my next story. All right. So I'm just going to read the headline really quick. I don't think I'm going to read this entire article here. Well, I guess it's kind of short. I'll go ahead and read it. It's 2 pieces on Matt Gaetz. Creepy ass. So Joel Greenberg, a former elected official in Florida, has been talking to federal investigators since last year about the conduct of Representative Matt Gaetz and others. Yikes. What's up, Human Roadkill? I'm actually not going to read all this. Sorry. So basically, Matt Gaetz is going to fight the charges. Matt Gaetz has not been charged yet with any crime. Because I guess they're figuring out what to even charge him with, because they know some shit. Because, I mean, why wouldn't they know some shit? They've been investigating him since last year. They're just trying to figure out what to charge him with. And Mr. Greenberg, this man Joel Greenberg, is going to snitch on Matt Gaetz. He is going to cooperate with the feds. And on that note, while we're talking about people snitching on Matt Gaetz, here's something fun. So the first thing some of the women were asked to do when they got to the house parties in the gated community in suburban Orlando was to put away their cell phones, according to 2 women in attendance who spoke to CNN in recent days. The men inside, a who's who of local Republican officials that often included Representative Matt Gaetz, did not want the night's activities documented. Interesting. The partygoers, at times dressed in formal wear from a political event they'd just left, mingled and shared drugs like cocaine and ecstasy. Some had sex. Gaetz, the brash Republican, liked to discuss politics, said one of the women. He behaved like a frat type of party boy, she said, sometimes taking pills she believed were recreational drugs. Details of the parties, which have not been previously reported, were described to CNN by 2 women who attended several of them over the past few years. Both spoke on condition of anonymity. The behavior of Gaetz and the other high-powered men at the events and a pattern of digital payments that followed will likely be items of interest to the Justice Department as part of its probe of Gaetz that includes allegations of sex trafficking and prostitution. Federal investigators are examining whether Gaetz engaged in a relationship with a woman that began when she was 17, according to people familiar with the investigation. The investigators have also pursued allegations from witnesses and other evidence that Gaetz may have used cash and drugs in his dealings with the young women and children. I would call a 17-year-old girl a child, but hey. After some parties, money would change hands. According to receipts reviewed by CNN, Gaetz and his associate Joel Greenberg, a former county tax commissioner indicted last year on multiple federal charges, used digital payment applications to send hundreds of dollars to at least one woman who attended the parties. The receipts viewed by CNN record payments that took place between 2018 and 2019 and include at least one that indicated in a label that it was to compensate for travel. One of the women said she received money from Greenberg after some of the parties. She said that some of the payments were for providing sex, but would not say who she slept with. She did say she never received money directly from Gaetz. Some of the parties were more low-key affairs, the other woman said. Some took place in hotel suites at the end of alcohol-filled political functions. No one ever wants to stop partying, stop drinking, once you've had a few glasses of champagne in you, she said. A spokesman for Gaetz did not respond directly to CNN's request for comment, but challenged the use of anonymous sources. According to people familiar with the investigation, authorities have spoken with some of the women involved with the congressman and his close friend, Greenberg, the former tax commissioner in Seminole County, Florida, who is currently facing 33 federal charges, including sex trafficking of a minor. And at this point, I must repeat I said it yesterday, but I gotta reiterate it again. The fact that these women are stepping forward anonymously should have no bearing on the information that they're sharing, because number one, since we're talking about prostitution or money changing hands in exchange for sex here, that is literally considered a crime, and they themselves could face legal repercussions for essentially confessing to prostitution, right? But number two, clearly these are very rich and powerful people that they're dealing with, and the fear of retaliation from either the people involved or people on their behalf is very rational, very real, and makes total sense. Why wouldn't you say this? If you're seeking for justice, why wouldn't you do this anonymously, right? So, one of the women who spoke to CNN said she did so in part because the picture of Gaetz as potentially connected to sex trafficking that has emerged in recent days does not align with what she saw. Okay. Both women said that they never saw anyone at the parties who appeared to be underage. Neither has spoken with the federal investigators, they said. Gaetz has denied ever paying for sex, and over the past 2 weeks has sought to frame the allegations against him as a result of political bias in the justice system and the media, which we know is bullshit because this investigation started under Attorney General Barr. So it seems to me like, because we know the Republicans are infamous for all batting for the same team and refusing to give each other up, right? The thin red line, so to say. So it seems a bit nonsensical to me that a Republican in the form of William Barr, the former Attorney General, how he would have some kind of political bias against his own party. But continuing on, he has also accused investigators of twisting his generosity towards women into something criminal. Providing for flights and hotel rooms for people that you're dating who are of legal age is not a crime, Gaetz said in an interview with Fox News late last month. The New York Times first reported that Gaetz made digital payments to women, and last Thursday the Daily Beast also reported on Venmo transactions between Gaetz and Greenberg and young women. Greenberg has been providing investigators with information since last year, including about encounters he and Gaetz had with women who were given cash or gifts in exchange for sex. A source familiar with the case confirms to CNN. Greenberg has met several times with investigators, and his cooperation, which was first reported by the New York Times, could put additional legal pressure on Gaetz as investigators work to determine whether he broke sex trafficking or prostitution laws himself. Last week, Greenberg's attorney and a federal prosecutor told a judge that Greenberg would likely enter into a plea agreement in the coming weeks, possibly giving the Justice Department even more access to a witness with intimate knowledge of any potential wrongdoing by Gaetz. Speaking to reporters after the Thursday hearing last week, Fritz Scheller, Greenberg's attorney, declined to say if his client would be willing to cooperate as part of the potential plea deal and would not divulge if Greenberg had already met with prosecutors to describe what he knows about Gaetz. He added, however, that his client is uniquely situated. "I'm sure Matt Gaetz is not feeling very comfortable today," Scheller said. Scheller declined to comment to CNN for this story. The investigation of Gaetz began in the closing months of the Trump-era Justice Department under then-Attorney General William Barr and was initially part of a broader probe into trafficking allegations against Greenberg. As part of the ongoing probe, investigators are scrutinizing Gaetz' connections to several associates in Florida who may have benefited politically in return for providing the congressman favors, including escorts, travel, and campaign donations, according to the sources familiar with the investigation. One event in focus is a trip that Gaetz took to the Bahamas with friends and young women, CNN has reported. Investigators are seeking to determine whether Gaetz was provided travel and women in exchange for political favors as part of their broader probe, the sources said. Yikes. A former member of the Florida House of Representatives and the son of a powerful figure in Republican state politics, Gaetz cultivated a tight-knit circle of politically connected friends who stayed in his orbit after he went to Washington in 2017. What's up, Irameshi? In recent days, a number of those allies have been drawn into the scandal. Chris Dorworth, a former state legislator whom Gaetz has described as a friend and legislative mentor, stepped down from his post at a high-powered lobbying firm on Friday, a day after the New York Times reported that he had spoken with Gaetz about running a third-party candidate in a local election, which could be considered a violation of campaign finance laws if the third-party candidate was secretly paid for running. "The current political environment is nasty, and I told Brian I don't think it's fair for the recent media storm to take away from their missions," Dorworth wrote on Twitter, referencing Brian Ballard, the founder of the Florida-based lobbying group with close ties to the administration of former President Donald Trump. Dorworth told CNN on Wednesday that he did not recall talking with Gaetz about running a third candidate, and pointed out that he didn't believe it would have been illegal if it did occur. He did not respond to CNN's request for comment on his resignation. So far, Greenberg appears to be the only person in Gaetz' orbit who is currently facing charges related to the scandal. First indicted in 2020 over the alleged stalking of a political rival, Greenberg has since been accused by federal prosecutors of unlawfully accessing a motor vehicle database to obtain and use the personal information of people, including some who he was engaged in sugar daddy relationships with. Yikes. That's a big fucking yikes. According to a person close to Greenberg, the former tax commissioner regularly sent identically worded messages to multiple women inviting them to parties through so-called sugar daddy dating websites, where men connect with women that they usually compensate with money or gifts. Few details about the sex trafficking of a minor charge levied at Greenberg last year have been revealed to the public, but in an August indictment, prosecutors said the minor was between the ages of 14 and 17 years old and accused Greenberg of unlawfully obtaining a photograph and driver identification number for the person. People close to both Greenberg and Gaetz have described them as good friends whose connection was as much about Republican Party politics in Florida as after-hours socializing. Greenberg, a newcomer to elected office when he won the county seat in 2016, enjoyed the political status he gained from friendships with Gaetz and other lawmakers, the people close to the men said. Out of the public eye, Greenberg would boast to friends that he was partying with Gaetz and women, according to the person close to Greenberg. For his part, Gaetz appeared to have found an ally in Greenberg, donating $1,000 to one of his campaigns and promoting him for higher office in an interview. "If Joel were to run for Seminole County, I think he'd become the next congressman from the 7th District," Gaetz told a Florida radio station in 2017. That relationship is now being tested. Gaetz, in turn, has boosted his defense team, late last week hiring 2 New York lawyers, including Mark McCasey, a former federal prosecutor who has also represented the Trump organization. Yikes. Big yikes. And I'll just read this headline really quick because it's kind of an offhand story that I just thought was kind of wild. Whoops. Bernie Madoff, architect of the largest Ponzi scheme in history, is dead at 82. His enormous fraud left behind a devastating human toll and paper losses totaling $64.8 billion with a B dollars. He scammed Eli Wiesel for all of his fucking life savings and his entire family and shit. Like, Bernie Madoff's scam game was on point. That much can be said about that man. So, on that note, let's play some fucking Hunt, and I'm probably going to end the stream early again tonight because I'm pretty tired and I'm also hungry. I haven't gotten a chance to eat before I started the stream up, so I want to do that. Let me move forward a little bit so I can get properly situated with this game with the microphone here. I'm gonna shift this just a smidge. Do you want to hop on and play a couple rounds, Kuma? Dope. All right. I'm gonna boot up Discord and then we can jump into a Discord. All right. Sorry, everyone. I have no idea why it takes the game so long to boot up. Like, I'm literally looking at the Crytek GmbH, like the pre-screen. Hold on, I'll show you what I'm looking at. Oh, never mind. It's gone now. Here it comes. Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. Not good. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, I was worried for a sec. I thought we weren't going to get to play. There's probably got to be a lot of server traffic the closer we get to the end of the event. I'm going to find a Hunt Discord for us to jump into. Let's see. I'm in channel 114. I'm going to put some perks on while we wait. What's happening? Thank you. I'm getting better. I think I'm gonna get a stream deck so that I can just like I don't have to click to change scenes. Let me go ahead and invite you. We could just run it duos until someone jumps in, I guess. I'll let him get his stuff set up here. I'm gonna go with Guy Oldfield. And if we have a good night, I might try to retire one of the green shields tonight. I know I've been saying I'm gonna do that for a few days, but it is. I'm only two rewards away. Well, 4 rewards away from the Shrike, the bomb lance skin from the event. Yeah, I feel that. I play every day, but I've only been playing a couple hours at a time. Right on. I can't read what's behind there. That sucks. I wanted to read that. Right on. I got a poison bomb. I can poison him. But then it's gonna leave poison there. Can we hop this hay right here? Nah, we can't. Do you hear that? That horse was close. Yeah, let's move this way. Had to punch the horse in his ass. Punch the horse in his ass. Or the dog, I mean. Boss is in here. I think they're in there. He's on fire, be careful. Watch out for the bleed. Alright, I'm gonna get him with, because there's people nearby, I'm just gonna get him with a sticky. Alright, truck bomb's out. It's all good. Let's banish. He didn't really drop a whole lot. I'll take the event points though. I usually start right at 10, Teabag. So if you wanna, if I'm not right at 10, I'm usually no later than like 15, 30 minutes later. So if you hang around my stream, like just like pull my Facebook page or my Twitch or whatever up, then I'll go live right at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every night. The accidental shooting, yeah, that was complete bullshit. Yeah. That hammer he dropped is good though. I'm gonna use that to bust up some of the barbed wire upstairs. Someone aggroed that hive. It said there was 6 seconds between the time she pointed the gun and then fired it. You mean to tell me you, first of all, you didn't realize that you were pulling your gun out instead of your taser, but you had that bitch in your hand aiming it straight aimed up. Like I get we're hip firing, but you can't tell you mean to tell me that bitch wasn't in your field of view? You didn't know you had your gun in your hand and not your taser, and you just let one off, and then immediately you're like, "Oh shit, I shot him." Come on now. Even if that shit was an accident, that needs to be a third-degree murder charge. It's not no fucking manslaughter. That's bullshit. I'll scan when we pick the bounty up. We're actually clear. I'll open this door. Right, yeah, exactly, Teabag. And she was on the force for like, she was on the force for a long ass time, to like a 26-year veteran, something goofy like that. A fucking crazy ass amount of time. Nice. In and out. You love to see it. Let's pick these clowns and get the fuck out of here. Shit. They're coming behind me. I'm about to get sandwiched like Mia Khalifa. Fuck. Shit, I was out of bullets. I tried. I missed all the shots I took. Yeah, you want to force for 20. Well, that's the thing is she was a training officer, which makes it even more fucked up. She was out there training the other officer that was with her. That's why she was on the beat. You out here 26 years, you ain't made detective yet. You out here fucking training other goofball ass officers. Wild, yo. I'll take that. Oh, never mind. It's fucking tier 2. I actually should have enough money for him if I sell some shit. Let me see what I got to sell. Yeah, there we go. Gavin Stewart. All right, I'm ready. Oh yeah, the well, it's just crazy that you need a fully armed, glocked up, fucking tasered up, shottied up, AR-15'd up police officer to do a routine traffic stop. Like, the fuck is that? That shit's crazy. And I was under the impression that just running people's tags in traffic was illegal to do anyway, but I guess that's not why they pulled him over. Oh yeah, and that's the other fucked up part about how they target poor people and by extension black people is that people who can't afford to have their cars fixed, people that have used cars, or people that just have fucked up cars, they get hit the worst. And of course, that shit only happens in the cities naturally because that's where all the police end up going, right? In the fucking cities, especially when they have to meet their quotas because they're not gonna fucking lock their neighbors up. They're not gonna write their neighbors tickets, right? So shit just people don't understand how this shit is just designed to fuck over poor people and fuck over black people and poor black people. This dude I bought had a Dolch, so that sounds like boss DPS already. Because people apparently haven't learned that you're not supposed to use explosives against Scrapbeak yet. Got the hive. Next clue is southeast 135. Go this way because there's crows to the left. Fuck off. Everyone on Liberty Road should be pulled over naturally. It is a death trap of horrible fucking drivers. 695 is like that too. Nice. Shut up. Clues off that direction. Yeah, shit sucks. I fell right in that drum. I tried to jump to the corner and fell in it anyway. The worst drivers of all fucking time by far are definitely in fucking. It's like, nah, I guess LA, because I never actually had to drive in LA. DC is pretty. It's not that the drivers in DC are bad. It's just that the roads and all the one ways and shit is literally just designed to make you as mad as fucking humanly possible while you're trying to drive. Chicago's pretty bad too. Like Chicago's rush hour was god fucking awful. A friend of mine back in 2008 was graduating from Navy boot camp, and we drove out to Chicago to go watch him graduate. And the time that we left was perfect because right when we left to leave for Chicago, right when we got there, was right when rush hour hit. So we spent 11 hours on the road to get to Chicago. I nailed him, but they're scared. He died. Why are you running? Why are you running? Okay. Yeah, good stuff. I don't know where his teammate ran to and died, though. I think that Emulator killed him because I shot him once. Yeah, I heard him die. They're engaging. No, that's. I mean, I addressed that earlier. It should be third degree, man. It should be third degree murder, but the police have a different set of rules than normal citizens, which is bullshit. Nah, Emulator. Wait, yep, people coming. Oh, never mind, that's you. I heard your feet. Sorry. It's all good. People act like police are gods because people they have to do that because of what the police function as. Police protect capital. That's why if someone breaks into your house and you call police, they take like an hour, 2 hours to get there. But if you break into a fucking 7-Eleven or you bust a window at Target, the police show up instantly, right? And worst case scenario, people just straight up want the police to kill black people. The cops technically no. The cops literally do have the authority to arrest. That's what qualified immunity is. They can kill you and get away with it as long as they say they were scared. And the only case where that isn't true is just like the I forget the unfortunately I forget the man's name. Yeah. The police officer that fucking shot that dude in the back like 8 times and then dropped the taser on him and tried to act like the dude tried to take his taser and that's why he had to shoot him. The only reason that dude got charged with murder and convicted of murder is because the whole thing was on video. Were that not the case, he would have got away with that shit. People use it as a mask for racism. Absolutely. That's what that means. When a white woman tells a black person, "I'm going to call the cops on you," that means that you need to leave because the cops are going to come fucking shoot you or lock you up. I'll see you, Teabag. Thanks for coming through. I think they're fighting on the bounty. We're pretty far though. Yeah. Did I mute game audio? No, I didn't. Oh, it's not working. Hang on, I'll fix it in a sec. Sorry about that. That sounds like either a fight or DPS. At Stillwater.
I hate these birds.
They're still on the joint.
If you want to head to it, I'll follow you.
Let's do it. Yeah, I've been harassed by cops many a time.
Bringing everything with me.
He ran back to his little area. Yeah, they're still definitely on the bounty in that compound. So.
Lefty here to go attack the other one.
Yeah, after we pick these kids, we can go back for the other guys.
I picked it up.
Got one. Oh shit, he got me.
Do you want to chase?
Yes, sir. Careful off to the right as well.
I tagged him.
Shit, he got me. Well, real poverty build hours, because that was all the hunt dollars I had.
I'm sorry. I rushed.
That's all good.
Take him while he was taking.
Yeah, I thought you had him because I was hiding behind that tree, reloading and healing and stuff. So I was like, all right, he's about to. I thought we were gonna 1-2 him at least, even if you got down, but I fucking got killed. He 2-tapped me. So, my story is with police. I completely forgot that there was a third guy waiting in here too, and he left. That's funny.
Oh, he left before we even finished that last game.
That's wild. My man was impatient.
Yeah.
So, my first encounter with police.
He said, I can wait, and then we picked up the bounty, and he was like, all right, I'm out.
This was back in like 2008, so possession of marijuana was still a misdemeanor in Maryland. It was not decriminalized yet. The kind of weed culture, I guess you could say, was not as developed as it is now. There wasn't like legalization happening so much as it is now. Me and like 3 or 4 friends, we were in a car hotboxing in the neighborhood that I grew up in, no less. So like not even like a quarter of a mile from where I grew up, the house I lived in. Police came, and I knew something was amiss because we were hotboxing, like I said. The officer sticks his head in the car and like takes a deep breath like that. It's like, damn, I count a contact high. So we all kind of looked at each other like, what the fuck? And he asked us all for our wallets, and I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna get our IDs out of our wallets, because I'm 18, I'm scared shitless. I thought we were going to fucking jail. I had no idea what was going to happen. And he just hands us all back our wallets, sends about like $500, $600 total in cash, says you guys will be getting your citations in the mail, which we never did, and he and his partner just fucking leave. So that was the first time I got robbed by police. The second time was a friend of mine. I'll spare you all the details because it's kind of irrelevant to what I'm talking about, but we were hotboxing again in front of me, myself, another friend with a mutual friend in front of his house. He was being loud as fuck, got the police called on us. So they arrived, searched my car, found my bowl. They didn't find my weed, so we still got to get high afterwards, which was funny. But this is
shit,
like
I'm ready to prestige.
2009, 2010. Police officer doesn't arrest us or anything. At this point, I guess things were getting kind of lax for the whole cannabis marijuana thing. So he tells us, look, you guys will get your citations in the mail. You're going to do what's called a diversion program. This is the scheme that they were running before they straight up decriminalized, where your first charge, you could pay like $150 to go into this like drug rehab program, and you'd be in there with like crack addicts, heroin addicts. It was intense. But they said you could do the diversion program. I opted to do that, but they kept fucking my paperwork up, so my case kept getting postponed and postponed and postponed until eventually one day, I thought my case was July 2nd. It was June 2nd, so June 3rd, they kicked my door in with guns in my face. I'm talking 3 plainclothes officers, guns this close to my face. My life flashed before my eyes, right? And I had no idea they were police or what they were even there for. I didn't realize. I thought I was getting robbed. Like that. Like I thought it was one of my neighbors or someone that had seen me carrying my computer and musical equipment into my house and figured it'd be a good person to hit for a lick. You know what I mean? Because gun laws are so strict here in Maryland. But he pulled his handcuffs out. That's when I realized I was being arrested. They told me I had a failure to appear for a misdemeanor, right? But just like with, not even just like Dante Wright, because apparently it was earlier I was reading it was for like a weapons charge you got a misdemeanor for. I got a misdemeanor for something that isn't even illegal in the state anymore. And I almost got my fucking head blown off behind that, right? I wouldn't be sitting here right now if I had made any false moves, flinched, anything. All 3 of those officers that had the guns trained on my face right here like this decided to just let a few off and fucking riddle my skull with bullets, right? So in the course of them arresting me, they ran through my apartment, were all up in my fridge and shit, getting beers out of my fridge and all kinds of crazy shit. It was just not a good time. Not at all. 0 out of 10. Would not recommend. Abolish the police. I guess I'll get choke bombs too. Alright, I'm ready. Yep. Shit was pretty wild. Shit was pretty fucking wild. Oh yeah, and that's just the short version, Big Richard Lizardman. I could have sworn I've told you that before, but... Oh, Urameshi. Baltimore is the wild fucking west for police. There was a story I read during that period of time, actually, about a police officer that was slinging heroin outside, like out of his squad car, would be in his police uniform, in his police car, selling dope on the street. There was another police officer that she was a female police officer that was fucking this like major drug dealer and would actually call him anytime that they were about to raid his house so he could get cleaned up so he wouldn't get arrested. And this was going on for like a year, 2 years. Then of course there's the Gun Trace Task Force. I don't have enough time to talk about all the crazy shit that they did, but essentially during the Freddie Gray uprising, they were looting drugstores and stealing perks out of the pharmacies to sell on the street. Like, police here do, like, police in general do whatever the fuck they want. It's kind of crazy. In Missouri, weed didn't fly either. Yeah, it's still like that in a lot of places, especially in the South. Like, Maryland is one of the few, well, Maryland and Virginia now, but They really, I feel like, was it New Orleans? I feel like is one of the only other places weed's decriminalized in the South. Probably Florida, I would imagine. Yo, Roderick Pascal, thank you for the follow. Excuse me, and the like. But yeah, that's the short version of both.
We got
of
a
those
spot
stories.
right here on our right.
Nice. I told kind of a longer version of those stories yesterday on stream, but at some point I'll go more in depth into my personal interactions with police and why I just generally don't fuck with police. You have medicinal? Yeah. We had medicinal here first as well, and then they decriminalized. There might be people there, because there's a spawn on the other side of where we are, on that compound.
Right. That's why I'm looking at the road here.
I'll just climb this shit and grab the clue really quick and try not to trigger these ducks.
Go back up the way we came and cross the bridge.
Yeah, they just changed it here in Maryland so that you don't have to give up your 2A. But it's still not the case federally. Like, I got my rifle. Like, I still want to get my medical card, but I made sure that I had my 2A situation taken care of before I did that. And on that note, it fucking sucks that, like, the ammo shortage is fucking crazy.
Dog ahead.
It's like $1.20 for fucking green tips. That shit's so fucking stupid, dog. It's like 80 cents for a fucking 9mm. It's fucking ridiculous. I'm about to just start loading my own ammo. At this point, it's all. It seems like a good investment in the long term.
Crows.
Anyway. Except I don't feel like gun rights are a Second Amendment thing. I am a communist, so I'm on that. Under no pretext, all that good stuff. That's what a lot of people get fucked up about communism too. Is they think that communism is fucking taking away all your rights and taking your guns away and shit. When Karl Marx was actually very adamant about the entire working class being very well armed. Yeah, prices are pretty nuts right now for ammunition. Yeah, 5.56 green tips are like $1.20 a round. Expensive as fuck for no reason. But apparently, I didn't know. So Remington like filed for bankruptcy, and they just got rebought, and so now there's another company or they have a new owner or something like that, and so now they have a factory that's producing a shitload of rounds again. So the ammunition shortage, at least on the Remington end, should be over pretty soon, over the next couple of weeks, as they produce more rounds and ship them out and that sort of thing.
Watch the dogs, right? Oh, never mind.
Sorry. There's people close by anyway, right up ahead. They're fighting. I don't know if they're fighting on the boss or what. Lumber prices were, I don't know much about that, but yeah, they're fighting here.
I'm a little ways behind you.
It's all good. I'll wait till you catch up. I'm third partying. Holy fuck, I missed with the axe. I can't believe I missed. Nice kill. Careful, second one's right there. Nice, good kill. On your right as well, careful. Heal up, heal up, heal up. Oh shit. Rushing you. Shit, good try. That was my fault, because I thought I fucking, with that axe swing, I completely missed. Yeah, the belt loading Pete's.
It's all good, man.
Alright, this is my last one though, I'm starving.
Alright, yeah, I hear you. Got all the adrenaline going right now. Holy shit.
Yeah, right? Alright, I'm ready.
Good to go too. Let's make this a good one.
Looking at more news stuff. I don't feel like doing any more news tonight though. I'll do some more tomorrow. The belt loading Pete's weren't enough. Yeah. Sometimes it's just like the other, what was it, last night? The pumpy wasn't enough. I shot that dude in his fucking kneecap. Which, I'm pretty sure if you shot somebody in the kneecap with a fucking pumpy in real life, they would be done. But, you know, I can't complain. I'm sitting here talking about realism in a game where there's fucking zombies traipsing around. Especially point blank, yeah. Fact. Alright, let's get it. Textures look so gross. I don't know if it's because of the lag or
Crows on the left.
Settings. Duff that horse.
Got a little dime bag over here.
Nice.
That one dude called it that, and ever since then, I'm like,
right. Clues that way. We can go this way though. Watch out for the puppers. Looks like it's a double clue this way too, so that's cool. Yo,
oh
thanks for the share,
God.
my coward. I landed right in the middle of them too. There's two hives right here. Yo, thanks for the like and the share, Mike. I appreciate you. Hope all is well with you. Saw you went on vacation. Got yourself a little getaway. guess the other clue disappeared. That's cool though. There's one back this way.
Oh, we got a trait in here. Conduit. I don't think that was good.
That's cool. It's pretty good. It gives you health.
Alright.
Those bees are on my ass. Yo, thank you for the stars. I appreciate you, my dude. I'm with you.
Fuck. I thought I heard somebody as you was running in and I stopped to listen. Yeah, he's right behind that house.
Eat that.
That was him. He might have been alone. Okay, now I hear.
Shit, fuck.
They both had the same skin. That's wild.
It's close. Very close. Thank you for the like, Miss Chrissy. Chrissy, I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone watching. Alright, man. I think I'm going to get out of here for the night.
That sounds good. Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for the games.
Thank you.
Yeah, see you.
Alright, y'all. Thanks for watching. Like I said, I've started writing down all the news stuff and all the stuff I want to talk about before the stream. Tonight I ran a little late just because we worked mad overtime tonight. Didn't really get home till kind of late, so that's the only reason I was late tonight. But I will typically be on at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's New York time. Let's go back to the news that I got. But yeah, I appreciate everyone watching and giving me stars and liking and sharing and following and all that good stuff tonight. I will want to talk because I know Teabag Fairfield was in here earlier and we were talking about this whole Dante Wright shooting. So I'll probably talk about that more tomorrow. Depending on what we hear from Derek Chauvin's defense, I might spend some time talking about Derek Chauvin's trial tomorrow. Hopefully we get some more details from this Peyton Ham shooting here in Maryland. And we'll see what else we got going on in the news, what other like labor related and just you know, I never got a chance to talk about the Georgia voter laws, so I might talk about that as well tomorrow. Depends on what time I get home. If I get home at the normal time tomorrow and I have enough time to like prepare before the stream, I'll do that. But as it stands right now, there's already just like so much stuff I really want to talk about, but I don't really have the time to do it right now. If I don't get a chance to cover a lot of that stuff this week over the next 2 days, then probably definitely next week, because stuff will kind of go back to normal. Coworkers coming back from vacation, so I'll be able to actually get home at a reasonable time. I won't have as much overtime, but it'll be cool because I can do my normal stream thing, my regular thing. And yeah, that's it for tonight. Thanks for watching, everyone. I appreciate you. Everyone stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you tomorrow.